where rock and roll outfits became the norm and theatrics helped music break beyond the stage, there was one man, a master trendsetter who redefined the fantasy voyage of the guitar hero, the magic man behind the riffs, solos, and spells. He conjured a new level of mystique that every famous name chased, like the Chinese dragon dance, alive, fierce, and timeless. His armor was a statement of movement and myth. Two dragons, black and white, two sides of Jimmy Page. This is the story of the suit that conquered the 1970s. Jimmy Page's fixation with dragons began in 1967. He was still a member of the Yardbirds. His main guitar was a Fender Telecaster. He changed the design from shiny mirrors for a custom dragon design hand-painted by Page. His fascination for colors and aesthetics was only natural for a former art college student. Where the late 60s had names like Hendrix, Harrison, and Clapton rocking painted guitars, Jimmy wasn't left behind, and with his Tele, the world was ready for Led Zeppelin 1. Their early tours had the 6-string Dragon winning crowds over with a powerhouse sound very few bands could rival. Soon Page got a hold of a Gibson Les Paul and the Telecaster was put aside, but Page never discarded a good idea and would later find a new way to bring it back. By 1973, Led Zeppelin was the biggest band in the world, but Jimmy was still searching for an outfit that truly matched the music and his mysterious symbol. Where working man shirts, vests, and a strange-looking sweater had once been enough, it was time to step it up. He was a natural performer. His stage moves created a brand of expression that demanded a shining armor to complete the attack. Jimmy solved the first part of the puzzle with a rose-patterned Matador jacket that screamed Guitar Hero. The band hired a film crew to capture the final 3 shows of their tour at Madison Square Garden. Before opening night, they made a quick trip to Los Angeles, and Jimmy found a groovy-looking piece: stars, sequins, and dragons. One on the right leg, and another one on the back of the jacket. Here's Page boarding the Starship on his way to New York City, excited to unveil it to 20,000 fans of the Garden, and it made an impression. Enter the Dragon had premiered just the day before, perfect timing for some serious musical martial arts. Rumor has it this suit was made by the legendary LA tailor Nudie Cohn of Nudie's Rodeo Tailors, the same designer who dressed icons like Elvis Presley and Graham Parsons in flamboyant Western colors. His look carried that mix of innocence and showmanship. Later nicknamed the Space Cowboy suit, it was worn in full by Page for the first 3 songs only. As he later claimed, the jacket was too hot. He replaced it with a rose-patterned one, creating a dramatic contrast that dazzled crowds and inspired thousands of aspiring guitarists to be like Jimmy. Dragons were trending. Emerson & Palmer's drummer, Carl Palmer, had a custom kit built around October 1973, a state-of-the-art creation featuring 2 gongs, each with a dragon painted on the reverse side. They became the talk of the town at California Jam 74, a spectacular display of power, precision, and Oriental-inspired designs. Jimmy Page was right, dragons look cool. Fast forward to early 1975, Physical Graffiti was released and Led Zeppelin returned to America. It wasn't the easiest tour, with Robert fighting a nasty flu and Page dealing with a broken finger on the first shows. While Jimmy wore different jackets throughout, his Dragon and Stars trousers were back, making on and off appearances all through late February. The glam rock styles of Mark Bolan, aka T-Rex, had already influenced the British music scene and beyond. Guitar riffs and power chords now felt heavier, fueled by matching visuals of grandiosity and luxury. Zeppelin's tour carried on, and Page got in touch with a designer by the name of Coco, who lived in Los Angeles. He wanted a new Dragon outfit that included custom design elements, and if possible, wouldn't be as hot beneath the stage lights. The last 3 shows of the tour were played at the LA Forum. Page wore this on the first night, this on the second, and half his new outfit on the third night. Hello Dragon Trousers 2.0. These show-stealing pants included Page's interests in astrology and esoteric books, with his sun sign Capricorn, rising sign Scorpio, and moon in Cancer. The right leg had his symbol in gold-colored inlays. It was a huge improvement over the previous piece, the work of a dedicated craftsman whose identity has remained a mystery to this day. Undeniably, this was a work of art, up there with the oriental sounds of Kashmir and the light and shade contrast of Stairway to Heaven. Jimmy was now waiting for the jacket. Where would he use it next? Led Zeppelin took a month-and-a-half break before returning for a special concert series, this time at the Earl's Court Exhibition Centre in London. The reason was simple. They hadn't played the UK in 2 years, and they wanted to bring their American show, projection screen included, home for a national celebration of their success, surrounded by British fans and family. Demand was so high for tickets that 2 extra shows were added, for a total of 5 nights. The crew prepared every inch of their gear, lighting rig included. Spare no expense. This was to be a larger-than-life event. All 4 bandmates brought their favorite wardrobe pieces, including Jones with the famous onion suit. But all eyes were on Jimmy Page, premiering the full Black Dragon suit on May 17, 1975. He was 31 years old. Playing back home was far more stressful than touring North America, with critics, family, and industry peers watching. Jimmy found his perfect armor, the one that could withstand the weight of fame and expectations of million-dollar record sales. The jacket had handcrafted colorful designs on both arms, plus a third character on the right front panel. A giant image on the back completed the set of dragons looking back at the crowd from every angle. Made from crepe, it wouldn't get too hot under the lights. Page's dragon dance led the way through 3.5 hours of music, times 5. Every stage move iconic, yet even standing still, he looked commanding. These performances became the source of some of Jimmy's most famous photographs and film footage, capturing the pure essence of motion and music. Guitar crunch poems of freedom, and in between, one of the coolest violin bow solos he ever performed. Method acting meets musicianship, redefining rock outfits as notes beyond the fretboard. By the time they did Stairway to Heaven, Page raising the double neck guitar high became the definite image of the 1970s, immortalized for decades to come, from action figures to action figures. Robert's car accident in August 1975 brought Zeppelin to a full stop. The American tour in the fall was cancelled, and with it, Page premiering his Dragon suit in the US. Presence was out the next year, plus their highly anticipated movie and soundtrack, grossing $10 million in the process. The next move was to return to America in 1977, and with it, a revamped identity. Page had special plans for his dragon suit, a white dragon suit. Maybe he wanted to carry on with the hermit theme from Zeppelin's movie, maybe he took note from Elvis Presley, or we can only speculate, Graham Parsons back in 1969. Now there was another reason for a new outfit. Page was thinner than he had been in 75. The black dragon pants risked falling on stage. And this actually happened, but we'll get to that in a minute. With a smaller waist than Earl's Court, designer Coco worked overtime to get the first part of the outfit ready. Led Zeppelin began their American tour on April 1st, 1977. Page wore the new jacket and white pants all through the 20th, waiting on the rest of his new image. And then, on April 23rd, in Atlanta, Jimmy Page showcased his new armor in full. Page wearing white made him look like a wizard, a magician of electricity and tone, becoming the most visually striking character on stage. He captured the audience's attention, and then some, making up for Robert still recovering from his leg injury. The White Dragon brought a unifying element to their show, a bold move in the usual dark world of rock and roll. Santana had done it in 73, and Peter Frampton followed in 76. Jimmy joined the club with yet another innovation. Variations on a theme, Knights in white satin. While not as striking as the black version, this one was built for long shows. It was made from white shot satin, a smooth fabric woven with white and silver threads that gave it a soft, pearl-like shine under the stage lights. It was also not so hot as the previous fabrics, which meant Jimmy could play the marathon shows without falling to heat exhaustion. The jacket had an opium poppy on the right panel, a complex dragon on the back, and another poppy element taking center stage. For some reason, this reminds me of the album cover from that year's Festival album by Satin, released in January. Jimmy's pants had the dragon moving up his left leg, almost dangerously close to the pelvic region. The right leg had another opium flower that sparked many theories among fans. The white fabric made these designs quite an achievement, as their bright background amplified any imperfection, and this remains a fascinating display of skill. The work on these was flawless. The outfit became known as the White Poppy suit and worked great with most of his guitars. The Dan Electro, the red Gibson Les Paul, and the double neck enhanced the red flower elements, producing more iconic shots throughout the tour. But it wasn't all good news for the White Dragon, as the satin fabric took too long to dry out between shows. They couldn't wash it, and not even a full day away from the stage could do the trick, which meant it became its own ecosystem of classic rock sweat where perspiration and inspiration met. By the time Page got dressed and ready to catch a flight to the next arena, the outfit battled humidity, and according to some sources, had a particular smell. So those backstage shots smelled like the previous gig and the gig before that. He wore it for about 90% of the shows that year. Now, did Page bring a spare suit? Yes, but just one. The complete Black Dragon suit made its American debut on May 28, 1977 at Capitol Center, Maryland. This was the closest US fans got to Earl's Court, and the footage reveals how Page, losing so much weight, makes the outfit look different, the pants a bit baggier, and he's kind of relearning how to use it after 2 years. Although a first time for American audiences, no one could deny how this felt like his classic look, closer to the Zeppelin movie wearing black, a guitar hero holding nothing back. Page reprised the outfit for the second time on tour on June 22nd at the LA Forum, where Plant addressed the fact Jimmy's pants were falling.
If that's not sorted enough, Mr. Page is losing his trousers right now. His pants are falling down. Jimmy Page's pants are falling down. Jimmy Page's trousers are now around his waist. But who's wearing a lady's belt?
The crew hurried to fix it with a belt, and Robert made sure everyone knew what was going on. The Black Dragon pants made a July 20th appearance in Tempe, Arizona, where Jimmy wore a black shirt and vest. Maybe the jacket wasn't dry, or they forgot it back at the hotel, but the crowd only managed to witness half the outfit. Page wore the Black Dragon piece one last time at Led Zeppelin's first of 2 shows at Oakland on July 23rd, and he couldn't have chosen a better setting. They played in daylight, and photographers were given the chance of a lifetime to capture the outfit's details in full. Jimmy did wear a black shirt underneath for safety. It was too sunny, and his studio tan could get everyone. Multiple angles, poses, and emotions from a somewhat tired Page who showcased his every trick, riding the waves of 70s success but never compromising on their mission to entertain the crowd like kings. This photograph shows how thin Jimmy was, a road warrior living off the excitement of times never to be repeated. America could only witness the Black Dragon suit 3 times, but it was enough to leave a lasting memory for many generations of dedicated Zeppelin fans.
Fairly interesting. As a matter of fact, the same woman who made this jacket I bought this second hand made these trousers. These are actually Jimmy Page's trousers, as worn on all manner of album covers with the, I think it's an astrological sort of symbol or some form of occult symbol that means his name in some sort of letters. I mean, but you can see this symbol on the backs of kids all over the country who like put it on their denims and stuff like that, the same way that they put like Iron Maiden and things.
Both Dragon suits went into hibernation past 1977, stored away from the road. Jimmy never came back to them for several reasons. He wasn't a size 29 waist anymore, and life happened. Led Zeppelin ended past 1980, and new faces followed well into the new millennium. The alter ego, the rock and roll persona, new guitar shredders following the footsteps of greatness, forever thankful to those who influenced their path. Jimmy Page kept the hand gestures, the smiles, and the mannerisms, but the Dragons remained in the ever-shining chapters of the past, memories of battles where fantasy became hope. If punk called them dinosaurs, maybe they were powerful, larger than life, and fierce competitors. I'd say punk was wrong. Led Zeppelin were fire, flow, and legends. They were Dragons.